So for a T copula with small degrees of freedom, with Pearson correlation R for the underlying normal, we have an explicit formula for the tail dependence coefficients, and it's where h nu is the distribution function of T, and here you have square root nu plus 1 into 1 minus r divided by 1 plus r. Interesting thing to see is that even when r is 0, the lambda n and lambda u are not 0. So r equal to 0 means the underlying normals are uncorrelated and independent, but the resulting t's are no longer independent because you are dividing by the same chi-square, square root chi-square by n. So one need not be alarmed that this formula doesn't give you 0 when you put r to be 0. Okay. So the explicit formula for these Archimedean copulas, Gumbel, Frank, etc. are available, but I didn't put them up because in the stock market context, just going from univariate to bivariate is not much big deal. You need to go to a higher dimension and non-equicorrelated case, so that rules out Archimedean. So we are left at the moment, as far as I can see the literature, T copula is about the only choice which seems to be available in the literature, and for that here are the coefficients. Once again, thing is that this is still a symmetric thing. So the lower and upper, both these are equal. Whereas for stocks, what one would like is both to be positive, but the lower tail dependence should be much more than the upper tail dependence. Okay. But I have not come across any such copula yet in the literature. But using T copula will be much better than using Gaussian copula. So we had seen that using Gaussian distribution when the assets are fatter tail results in underestimation of R. Likewise, using Gaussian copula in the context of assets which have tail dependence to underestimate the tail probability and thereby underestimating the R. So the next two slides I am going to give you an idea of tail probabilities for Gaussian and T copulas, what order of magnitude difference they are. This is taken from some source in the internet, I forgot from where I have taken. But so these are joint quantile exceedance probabilities for bivariate Gauss and T copulas with correlation parameters 0.5 and 0.7. So we have for the Gaussian copula, for the respective quantiles are given. For respective quantiles with joint exceedance probabilities. These are two-dimensional. So both components above 5 percentile, what is the Gaussian probability? And in case of T, these are the multipliers. Okay. So so for T with 3 degrees of freedom, it will be actually 1.21 into 10 power minus 2 times 1.5. So these are the multiplier by which the T probability exceeds the Gaussian probability. And as we can see that as we go further away into the tail, 0.001, the factor here goes to 5.8. So both the Gaussian components bigger than its 0.001 percentile, the probability is very small. Under T it is small, but it is 6 times that of the Gaussian. This is when rho is 0.5. If rho is 0.7, the thing comes down. This value is a lot more, and the factor comes down to 2.8. But this is only the bivariate situation. The next table tells us what happens when you are in a higher dimension. So now only 1 percentile quantile, we are not going to 0.001 percentile. So 1 percentile quantile exceedance probabilities in higher dimensions. All components above the 1 percentile in dimensions 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, rows are 0.5 and 0.7. And the Gaussian thing is the actual probability estimate and then the multipliers. And here we see the multiplier is going all the way up to 10. And this time we are only talking of 5 dimensions and we are talking of 1% exceedance probability. So if you should have been using t with 3 degrees of freedom, instead you use a Gaussian thing, you are underestimating the probability by a factor of 10. So, this is the reason why Gaussian, even using Gaussian copula and fat tail distributions, you still end up underestimating the VAR. And so to sum up, the importance of copula is because we would like to have joint distributions where marginals are fat tail distributions or fatter tail distributions, fatter than normal. In absence of closed form formulas, we are fine today. We can do simulations, so we can construct models using copulas and whatever marginal distributions is appropriate. And realistically, Gaussian copula is not the right one here because of the tail dependence, and t with small degrees of freedom 1, 2, 3 seems to be the choice currently.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions, comments?
I'm sorry, but you said that VAR is a measure for risk management for Basel II.
Yeah.
How about the new requirements for Basel III?
New requirements, I don't know. Are you talking about the tail VAR, the conditional VAR, or something more?
Okay, and another question. Why did you use one function for the distribution and not a mixture of distributions for the tail and the central distribution?
Okay, so your question is, for example, instead of going copula, etc., one could use mixtures of normal. Is that what you are saying?
Not a mixture of normals, but a mixture of two modes, one which has the copula. Well, I don't know if it's okay to say, but one to estimate by copulas, having two distributions, not normal, but two normal distributions, or two Paretos, or two double exponential, I don't know.
Okay, I can roughly answer that. See, if you are sticking to only normal and normal is not appropriate, then you are forced to go to mixtures. But once we go away from normal, a mixture of two copulas will give yet another copula. So it could be put that one could try to choose a mixture of t copulas, one with some degrees of freedom and another with some other degrees of freedom. Possible. But one has to go beyond normal, that's it. And I am not saying that this is the last word, but this is better than just normal, and one can, as I already said, the tail dependence upper and lower being the same is not quite right, and you have to explore further. One could explore mixtures of copula, but they will remain a copula.
Why continuous distributions?
Yeah, okay. The copula thing works out nicely only when you are continuous. One could do copula, underlying copula, and have discrete distributions describing marginals. That will work, but then, for example, the correlations will not be the same. The Spearman correlation of the underlying copula will not be the same as the correlation for the discrete ones. But for a given model, if one has to work it out, one can work it out. There is no need that with copulas you have to use continuous distributions. No. With continuous things simplify that the rank correlations don't change. That's the only thing.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll put all these slides in this following. Location, Tolo and minuscule. Thank you very much.